A broke girl climbed into the wrong car, thinking it was her Uber. She had no clue the man inside was the CEO, and soon, the love of her life. But before we dive in, drop a comment telling us where you're tuning in from. Now, let's get into it. Emma Parker was running way behind, like nightmare-level late. She just called a ride on her app, but the second she hit confirm, her phone went black. Battery dead. She groaned, tossed it in her bag, and tried to fight off the rain with what could only be described as an umbrella-shaped disaster. Her eyes scanned the street like she was begging the sky for a miracle. Then, like magic, a sleek black car, same model as her Uber, rolled to a stop at the light. She didn't think twice. "Finally, you're here," she called out, flinging the door open and juggling her umbrella like a circus act. "I'm super late. Please step on it. The new CEO's presenting at Stonebridge today. If I don't make it, I'll get fired before I even start. They say he's this serious, never smiles by the book kind of guy." The man in the driver's seat turned slowly. Designer suit, stone-cold expression, eyes like polished steel. "Excuse me, but please don't. I get it. Bad traffic, cursed GPS, all of it. Just head straight and take a right after that overpriced French cafe. Seriously, $9 for a croissant? 9. I had one yesterday, and I'm still digesting the price." He blinked once. Then again. His hand barely moved on the wheel. "Veronica, maybe—" "Oh no, I get it. I sound insane." But my alarm failed, my coffee scorched my mouth, and the cherry on top. She turned dramatically, locking eyes with him. "I'm wearing mismatched socks." She pulled up her pant leg. One sock had Christmas penguins, the other tacos. He inhaled slowly. The light flipped green, and the car rolled forward. Emma exhaled like she'd been underwater. She slumped into the seat, letting her soggy umbrella drown the floor mat. "Thanks a million. You're a hero. Or just a very quiet Uber driver. Also, sorry for not confirming your name. My phone died. But you stopped at just the right time. Totally meant to be. Like a rom-com, minus the rom and the com." She chuckled to herself. The man drove on, eyes fixed forward, though the edge of his mouth twitched, ever so slightly. "Are you always this quiet?" The mysterious, brooding driver type. "I like that. Bet you've got wild stories. You should write a book. Confessions of a Silent Uber Driver. Total bestseller." He gave her a quick side-eye, questioning the reality he'd found himself in. Then back to the wheel. Emma looked around. "And this ride? Way too nice. Smells like brand new leather and money. Just sitting here makes me feel like I got a raise, which I need, thanks to that croissant." Still nothing from him. "You're really good at listening. You know that?" Silence. She turned to the window and tried to smooth her rain-frizzed hair. "Can you drop me at the side door? Fewer people to witness this mess. If I knew working here required looking presentable, I'd have hired a glam squad." The car slowed. With almost cinematic precision, he pulled up to the curb. "Really appreciate it. I owe you 5 stars, as soon as I find a charger." She hopped out, glanced back to thank him again, but he was already staring straight ahead, expression unreadable. As if the moment hadn't happened at all. She had no idea. Emma darted inside, drenched and breathless. Hair wild, shirt missing a button, socks still feuding. She barely made it into the elevator, thanks to someone holding the door. Upstairs, she blended into her team like she'd been there all along. "Emma, you almost missed the CEO intro," whispered a co-worker. "Tell me about it. My Uber? Total chaos. This whole day's been nuts." But then, a knock cut the chatter. The coordinator peeked in, beaming nervously. "Everyone, conference room now. The new CEO's arrived." A wave of whispers swept the room. Emma smoothed her shirt and followed the crowd, still finger-combing her hair. Then the doors opened. Footsteps echoed. And there he was. Impeccable suit, commanding presence, and those same steel-grey eyes she'd seen behind the wheel. Time froze. Emma's heart stopped. The folder in her hands slipped, hitting the floor with a dull slap. "This is Mr. Nathan Brooks, our new CEO," the coordinator announced. Nathan stepped up, scanning the room, until his gaze landed squarely on Emma. A faint smirk tugged at his lips. "I hope my entrance didn't surprise anyone," he said, eyes locked on her. "Especially those who mistook me for an Uber driver. You could have heard a paperclip drop." Every head turned. Emma, a frozen statue of pure horror. The same man she had bossed around like a cabbie now stood there in a $1,000 suit, amusement twinkling in his eyes. "It's great to see such enthusiastic faces," Nathan added, still staring at her. "I'm looking forward to working with you all, especially those with enough faith to hop into strange luxury cars." A chuckle rippled from the back of the room. Emma wanted to vanish into the carpet. "Veronica Stone here," he continued, subtly motioning toward her, "has already shown great initiative and a unique approach to logistics. Very impressive." Emma smiled weakly, completely speechless. Her heart was thudding like a bass line at a rock concert. Nathan calmly carried on with his introduction, completely unfazed. But Emma could tell. He remembered, and even worse, he was clearly enjoying every second. As he laid out big-picture goals, talked about streamlining, and threw around words like realignment, all she could hear was the panic in her head screaming, "You told the CEO to hit the gas. You showed him your penguin and taco socks. You said he was a quiet Uber guy." Once the meeting wrapped and people started gathering their things, Emma made a move toward the side exit, hoping to vanish like a ghost. No such luck. "Veronica Stone," Nathan said, polite, but with that unmistakable boss voice. He walked toward her, 2 steps, but it felt like slow motion. Now they were eye to eye, and though everyone else pretended to be focused elsewhere, they were absolutely tuned in, like it was an office soap opera. "I hope your commute this morning was satisfactory," he said, deadpan. But those eyes, full mischief. Emma managed a painfully stiff smile. "Oh, definitely, sir. Top-tier Uber experience." He quirked a brow. "Good to hear. Though I must say, some drivers probably deserve more than 5 stars. Maybe a promotion." She let out a nervous chuckle. "Oh, no need for that. I mean, the driver was fantastic, but I doubt he's aiming for a corner office." Nathan gave a slight head tilt, clearly amused. "We'll talk more soon, Veronica Stone. I've got a few ideas." And then he winked. Yes, he winked. Emma made her escape, cheeks on fire, while whispers swirled behind her like wildfire. Her brain couldn't decide which was worse, getting fired or getting promoted just to be publicly roasted. When she got back to her desk, her co-worker Lily strolled over with a smirk. "What was that? Do you know the boss?" Yes? Kinda. It's complicated. He looked at you like he's seen you in a movie, like dramatic music should have been playing. Lily, if I tell you, promise you won't laugh." Lily's eyes lit up. "Now I have to know." Emma leaned in, scanned the area, and whispered, "I jumped into his car thinking it was my Uber, told him to floor it, gave directions, ranted about my socks, and complained about a $9 croissant." Lily slapped a hand over her mouth to muffle her laugh. "No way." "Yes way. You accidentally made the CEO your personal driver. That's epic, like screenwriter-level legendary. It's a disaster, Lily. If I get canned, can you drive me home? If you get fired, I'm putting that story in a frame, she said, grinning. But from the way he looked at you, I don't think you're going anywhere. Emma dropped her face into her hands, and deep down, she kind of believed it too. But that wasn't what bothered her most. The real issue? He was having way too much fun. And Nathan Brooks didn't strike her as the type to let a joke die a quiet death. Emma Parker now had two truths to live with. One, she'd officially become company legend. And two, she was probably on the CEO's radar for all the wrong reasons. Ever since she walked out of the meeting, she'd caught glances over screens, some curious, others way too amused. And the sympathetic looks? They only made her more panicked. She sat at her desk, pretending to work on some urgent spreadsheet analysis. In reality, her screen was a blank doc, and she'd been staring at it for what felt like forever. Lily appeared with coffee, concerned. "You hanging in there?" "I'm living in denial," Emma said. "This spreadsheet is my invisibility cloak. If he doesn't see me, he can't fire me. Foolproof." "Emma, he's already seen you. He's spoken to you. He drove you here." Lily tried not to crack up. "At this point, he probably knows your childhood nickname." Emma groaned and buried her face again. "And I called his luxury car an Uber, with CEO upholstery. Maybe he thought it was funny. He did. And that's what freaks you out." Right then, as if on cue, the desk phone rang. Emma froze. Before she could decide between answering or fake fainting, Lily picked it up. "Project department," Lily mouthed, eyes wide as saucers, covering the receiver with her palm. "It's him. He's asking for you." "I'm so dead," Emma whispered back. "Will you come to my funeral?" "Only if there's snacks." Emma picked up the phone, only to hear that voice. Nathan Brooks, calm and cool as ever. "Yes, I'll be right there," she replied, channeling all her inner professionalism, though mentally she'd already passed out twice. She stood like a busted mannequin, smoothed her blouse, ran fingers through her damp hair, and walked the hallway like she was on reality TV, heading straight to elimination. As she passed, one co-worker offered a soft, "Good luck." Another just gave her a look that screamed, "Bless your heart." The CEO's door was cracked open. She inhaled, knocked twice. "Come in," the voice called. Emma stepped in gingerly. Nathan stood by the window, hands in his pockets, gazing outside. "Mr. Miller, you asked to see me." He turned slowly, same unreadable eyes, same composed face, only this time with a flicker of amusement. "Yes, Veronica Stone. Have a seat." She did, stiff as a statue, hands folded, posture like something out of a finishing school. "First off, thank you for the unexpected lift this morning," he said. Emma's jaw dropped. "Sir, I am so sorry. I swear, it wasn't on purpose. My phone died, the car looked identical to my ride, and you were parked right in front of me. I really thought you were my Uber. And you proceeded to give directions, like you were leading a tactical mission." She bit her lip. I panicked. Third rainy day in a row, burnt my tongue on coffee, wearing socks that don't even match. I was not in my prime. And still, you went on a monologue about croissants and how rich my car smells. He leaned over his desk, voice steady. "That was unique. If this is a warning or a termination meeting, I get it. Just, please don't put it on my permanent record. I'd rather not explain this at future job interviews." Nathan pulled out the chair across from her and sat down. "Veronica Stone, what makes you so certain I'm here to fire you?" "Because CEOs aren't usually big fans of being mistaken for Uber drivers." He raised a brow. "And what if I told you I appreciated your candor? Then I'd think you're testing me." "Maybe I am." Emma swallowed. "In that case, I'm failing with style." He studied her, arms crossed. Are you good at your job? She blinked. I think so. I'm still new, but I catch on quick. I'm organized, detail-oriented, and I know the system well, and I can be discreet, most of the time, unless I hop into strangers' cars. She offered a tiny nervous smile. Also, apparently, I have a rare sense of humor. So I'm not firing you, she asked. Not today, he said, rising, but maybe confirm the name before you jump into someone's car next time. Noted. Many notes. Oh, and one more thing, he added, already turning back to the window. That croissant, it really does cost $9. Emma chuckled, caught off guard. You've been there? Once, still recovering. She stood, the tension leaving her shoulders. May I get back to work? You may. And Veronica Stone? She paused at the door. Yes? Next time you hitch a ride with a stranger, lock the door, especially if the stranger happens to be the CEO. She let out a nervous giggle and slipped out, holding it together until she got far enough to smile for real. Back at her desk, Lily was already in full gossip mode. Well, you alive? Fired? Promoted? Marriage proposal? Still breathing? Still employed? No diamond? What did he say? That I have a sense of humor, and I should be more careful around billionaires in suits. Lily's jaw dropped. He actually said that. Not in those exact words, but pretty close. You realize you're officially office legend now, right? I'm aware. As long as I still have my badge, I'll survive. Lily offered her a muffin, like a peace offering. Eat. You've earned it. Emma took a bite. Not bad. Maybe things were looking up. The next morning, she showed up 10 minutes early. She checked the Uber driver's name, then double-checked the plate. Still not convinced, she walked instead. Moments later, she bumped into Nathan in the hallway. That familiar smirk was back. Did you check your Uber today? Twice. I'm proud of you. She kept walking, hiding a grin. Out of nowhere, Lily appeared. Something's going on with you two. Don't. I'm serious. It's like a real-life romantic comedy. Emma rolled her eyes, but deep down, maybe she wasn't mad at the idea. The next morning, Emma marched into work like she was on a classified mission. She hadn't slept much, dreamed about hauling a wagon full of overpriced croissants. One thing was clear. Nathan Brooks was definitely up to something. Morning, Lily. You okay? You sound like you're about to take a NASA exam. I'm bracing for disaster. He complimented me yesterday. That never means just a compliment. Lily sipped her coffee. You're being dramatic. Maybe he just, I don't know, likes you. Emma raised an eyebrow. He's a CEO. He doesn't like people. He scans them like Excel files. But he smiled when you mentioned the croissant. Yes, like someone already plotting my downfall because I talked too much in a stranger's car. Before Lily could reply, her desk phone rang. She answered quickly. Yes, she's here. She lowered the receiver and whispered, You've been summoned. CEO's office. Emma's knees buckled. See? Told you. Bring your coffee, in case it's a trap dressed up as a friendly chat. Nathan sat calmly behind his desk when she walked in, scrolling through a tablet. Mr. Miller, you wanted to see me? Ah, Veronica Stone. Please sit. She nervously smoothed her skirt and took a seat. I've got a specific task for you, he said, putting the tablet aside. We're welcoming investors Friday. I want someone to walk through the entire office with the maintenance team. Lighting, coffee, printers, the tiny stuff that breaks and ruins everything. Sure, I'll tell the team. No, I want you to lead it. Her eyes widened. Me? Wouldn't this be more of a management thing? Exactly. That's why I chose you. You notice details, like hopping into a car that isn't yours. She narrowed her gaze. So this is a weird punishment. I call it a trust exercise. This sounds a lot like Mission Impossible. I hope you're up for it. Fine, I'll do it. But I want a map, a flashlight, and a therapist on standby. Perfect. Start on the 10th floor, they're waiting, and don't forget. Test the coffee machine. Investors won't forgive a sad cappuccino. 3 hours later, Emma stood with a notepad, 2 maintenance guys, a roll of duct tape, and a paint stain on her blouse. This feels like a home renovation show, she muttered, scribbling flickering light. Urgent fix. Veronica Emma, a tech called out. Printer in room B's jammed again. Says it's printing, but it's just whining. I'm on it. If it launches paper at me, I'm suing. In the room, she gave the printer 3 solid smacks. Nothing. All right, time for the sacred ritual, she said, kneeling and yanking out the tray like a seasoned veteran. Then, Emma, Lily's voice rang from the doorway. She slammed her head into the panel. Ow, what? Nathan is coming down. Wants to see the progress. Of course he does. He's got that reality show timing. Minutes later, Nathan strolled in. There was Emma, elbow deep in a stubborn printer, ink on her cheek, and her blouse caught in a tray. Need help? He asked, trying not to laugh. I need a new life. Or a rescue crew trained in printer combat. He stepped forward and gently freed her blouse. She straightened up, salvaging what dignity she could. All under control? He asked. Well, aside from being attacked by office machines, watery coffee on the 9th floor, and a lobby that smells like a wet sock, totally fine. He chuckled. I like your honesty, even if it hurts. I call it theatrical efficiency. He skimmed her notes. Nice work. Better than expected. Is that a compliment or another riddle? You decide. Next morning, Emma returned to her desk, finally expecting peace. But an envelope waited. Inside, a handwritten note. Emma, we need you to review the annual financial report. Apparently it disappeared from the digital folder. I'm counting on you. Nathan. Her jaw dropped. He wants me to audit that, Lily gasped. That's like elite-level stuff. One mistake, and boom, implosion. If I nail it, he'll just invent another insane task. He's testing you. He's testing my mental limits. Emma took a deep breath and dove in. 3 hours later, her eyes burned. She'd cleaned up numbers, reformatted graphs, and found someone had charged chocolate under company expenses. This is Disneyland for auditors, she groaned. That afternoon, Nathan popped up beside her like a stealthy executive ninja. Survived? Barely. Humanity's trust is gone. Someone's using company money to fund a chocolate habit. Come with me. She followed him, weirdly used to these surprise summons. What did you think of the report? Some numbers look fictional. Some expenses are shady. The spreadsheets are worse than my laundry pile. I agree. Thanks to you, we're reorganizing. I want you in the finance meetings. Her eyes widened. Wait, me? Finance meetings? Yes. Observe quietly, then send me reports each week. Is this a promotion? Not yet. Consider it a trial. Trust is earned. She nodded, half exhausted but oddly proud. By the way, she said, I'm still waiting on feedback from my croissant report. 5 stars and bonus penguin socks. By Friday, Emma was exhausted, but something had shifted. A sense of purpose lingered. Lily picked up on it. You're loving this. Loving what? These mystery CEO tests. You whine non-stop, but you've got this new energy. I do not. You do. And I'll tell you why. She leaned in. You like the challenge. And let's be real. You like him. Emma almost spilled her coffee. Like him? Lily, he's my boss. Yeah, your mysterious, sharp and weirdly charming boss, who now only calls you. Emma stayed silent. Maybe Lily wasn't wrong. Maybe this wasn't punishment. Maybe it was the beginning of something. It was a regular Tuesday for everyone else. But for Emma Parker, nothing had been normal since the day she mistook her company's CEO for a rideshare driver. Since then, her days had turned into a puzzle of secretive projects, unpredictable meetings, and those lingering glances. Were they warnings or something else entirely? That morning, she sat at the front desk of the company's annual event, reviewing reports. Nathan passed by and said with a smirk, "Just observe. And stay available." An instruction so vague it could either lead to a high-level board meeting or the kind of twist you'd expect in a primetime soap. "Stay available," she muttered under her breath, mentally translating it to stand still, look competent, don't interfere with anything important, and smile like you mean it. But not with your eyes. The lobby was alive with energy. Bright banners showcasing the company logo stretched across the back wall, while rows of pristine chairs stood ready for guests. Photographers moved in calculated bursts. Journalists huddled near the buffet, which offered sandwiches with names so fancy no one dared try to pronounce them. Lily passed by with a juice in hand. "Everything under control?" "Perfectly," Emma answered with a practiced smile. "I'm basically a decorative element at this point. Might just plant myself by the ficus and see if anyone notices." "Keep your eyes on the press crowd. One of those reporters is from a major outlet. Word is, they're trying to get Nathan on record." "Fantastic. I just hope none of them think I'm anyone who matters. I can barely get the printer to cooperate." Lily disappeared into the crowd, and seconds later, a sharply dressed man holding a mic and scanning the room with intent locked eyes with Emma. "You're with the company, right?" "Yes, I'm admin support." "Perfect. I need a quick comment for today's article. Just a couple questions real fast." "Me? We're live," he said, giving a subtle nod to the camera behind him. "Your name?" "Emma Parker." "Emma, what are your thoughts on the new CEO, Nathan Brooks? What's it been like working under him?" She hesitated, mentally sorting through her week. The surprise tasks, the printing disaster, the mystery missions, the infamous croissant. And then, of course, Nathan himself, that enigmatic smile, always just on the edge of knowing too much. She gave a tentative smile. "Well, he's intense, mysterious, a little intimidating if I'm allowed to say that," she laughed. "But he also has a sense of humor, the kind that sneaks up on you right after you've fallen for it." The reporter looked intrigued. "And what's the general employee vibe toward him?" "There are rumors he's a bit too demanding." "Demanding? Absolutely. He drinks more coffee than a barista and requests more reports than a federal investigation. But somehow, it all works. Since he came on board, things feel more alive, more unpredictable, like the company finally grew a pulse." "Any standout moments working with him?" Emma nearly blurted out the Uber incident, but thought better of it. Let's just say he's the type who'll throw you off guard in the best way. Just when you're bracing for disaster, he gives you a challenge. And right when you think you're out of your depth, he acts like he knew you'd figure it out all along. "Fantastic. That'll make a great clip." Before Emma could even process what she'd just done, the reporter was already gone. She glanced at the now off camera and muttered, "Wait, was that an actual interview?" The camera blinked off. Too late. Back at her desk, hours later, she tried to ignore the low buzz of panic building in her chest. The event wrapped up without a hitch. Nathan hadn't reappeared in the lobby, and no one had said a word about her little moment on camera. She even allowed herself to believe maybe, just maybe, it wouldn't be published. That fantasy collapsed the next morning when Lily burst into the office holding a tablet like it was a winning lottery ticket. "Emma, you're on Business Leaders and Focus right now. There's a video. Your video." "What?" Emma shot up from her chair. "It's on the homepage. Look." Lily tapped play. There she was, standing in front of the polished event backdrop, mini sandwiches photobombing behind her, completely unaware she was giving a quote that would soon live on the internet forever. The headline read, "Employee reveals secrets of Diamond Enterprises' mysterious new CEO." Secrets? I didn't reveal secrets. I said he's demanding and kind of scary and has stealth humor, and something about nearly getting fired that turned into a challenge. Oh no. Lily couldn't breathe from laughing. There are comments already. This one says, "I want a mysterious CEO in my life too." And another says, "She's hilarious. Give her a company vlog." Emma buried her face in her hands. "I'm seriously getting fired this time, and I totally deserve it." Right on cue, the phone rang. Lily picked it up and instantly stopped laughing. "It's him. He wants to see you, now." Emma froze. "Lily, if I don't come back, please take care of my sticky notes and label maker. They're all I have." She knocked. A calm but firm "Come in" followed. Nathan was at his desk, watching the interview video. He paused it as she entered. "Mr. Miller, I swear, I didn't know it was official. I thought it was one of those icebreaker questions like, 'What's your go-to juice?' And then words just spilled out." His expression didn't flinch. "He needs more coffee than a coffee shop," he quoted. "True. I bring 2 just to make sure I get 1. More reports than an audit. Also true, technically. Intimidating, but with a sense of humor. Okay, that one. I meant as a compliment." He leaned forward, steady. "Emma, do you have any idea what you've done?" She blinked. Was it that bad? He stared at her for 3 long seconds, then finally sighed. It was a success. She frowned. "Wait, what?" "The video went viral. HR's already drowning in job applications. Subjects: I want to work with the mysterious CEO. You're kidding. I don't do humor, not yet, but I'm learning." She stood there, torn between relief and confusion. "So, I'm not getting fired?" "Quite the opposite. Marketing wants you to star in a few internal videos." "Me? Why?" "You're natural, quick-witted and relatable. That's the face we want now." She placed a hand over her heart, half serious. "Mr. Miller, with all due respect, what is happening to this company?" "No clue, but it's a little better with you in it." Emma coughed on her own breath, caught off guard. "That was surprisingly nice. Don't get used to it. I'm still the mysterious CEO, remember? Mysterious, sure, but now also an internet celebrity. Welcome to the era of memes." And for the first time in what felt like forever, Nathan smiled, a real one. "Back to work, and congrats on the interview." "Thanks. I'll try to keep future ones accidental too." "Please." She started to rise, heading for the door, but just before she reached it, his voice stopped her. "Emma?" "Yes?" "You looked good in the video. You're not just quick on your feet. You're captivating." She paused just briefly, then offered a smile. "Thank you, Mr. Miller. You're full of surprises too." And this time, she left without tripping. Since the interview clip took off online, Emma Parker felt like she was walking around the office with a blinking neon sign that read, "That interview girl." People who hadn't even looked her way before were suddenly calling her by name, complimenting her delivery, and yes, quoting the infamous croissant joke. "You're officially famous," Lily said, casually tossing a grape into her mouth while scrolling through the company's bulletin board, which now proudly displayed a screenshot of Emma mid-interview, captioned, "More caffeine than a coffee shop." "Famous? I'm a meme in heels," Emma groaned, settling into her chair. "A guy asked for my autograph today. On a sugar packet. Could be worse. You could have gotten fired." "Not yet. But I swear Nathan is planning something. He gave me a look this morning that screamed, 'Check your inbox.' Subject: We need to talk." Lily almost choked on her grape. "Well, rumor has it there's an investor dinner tomorrow night. Big deal, high stakes. And rumor also says Nathan needs a +1, because apparently one of the investors is more into him than their quarterly reports." Emma blinked. "You're telling me he's using a date as a business tactic?" "Exactly. And guess who's top of the list?" Emma stared. "No way. He wouldn't." "Oh, he might. In fact, I think he already has." "That's insane." Lily shrugged. "Dinner's called Night of Strategic Connections. Sounds like a dating show, but it's real." Before they could theorize further, the phone rang. Emma sighed. "I already know. I'll answer, and he'll say, 'Veronica Stone, I have an unexpected invitation for you,' followed by a dramatic pause, and maybe a wink I can feel through the phone." Lily laughed. "Or just a plain RSVP with a note. Be there." Emma picked up. "Projects Department. Emma speaking." Pause. "Yes, sir. Of course. I'm on my way." She hung up, looking at Lily with a deadpan expression. I hate being this right. When Emma stepped into Nathan Brooks's office, she already sensed she was walking into something unconventional. Another assignment? Maybe. A setup? Most likely. But nothing quite prepared her for what he actually said. "Veronica Stone, I'd like you to accompany me to a dinner with investors tomorrow night." She blinked. Twice. "I'm sorry. What?" "I need someone who understands the structure of this company, someone who knows how to carry themselves in a professional setting." He studied her like a chess player evaluating a move. "And someone who can think quickly in uncomfortable situations." "Like mistaking a CEO for an Uber driver?" "Exactly." Emma sank into the chair, trying to wrap her head around it. "Sir, with all due respect, why me?" "Because I trust you. Because the investors already know who you are. You're natural, approachable, unpredictable. Exactly the kind of image this company could use right now." He leaned back, almost amused. "And also, because I really don't want to dance with Veronica Chase again." Delaney. One of the key investors, very influential, very determined, and with an unfortunate passion for polka. Emma stifled a laugh. "So I'm going as a decoy? As a strategic ally?" She crossed her arms. "This sounds more like spy work than dinner. Should I wear a wire? Bring a burner phone?" "Just dress appropriately, be on time, and interrupt me when I give the signal." "Interrupt how?" "Make something up. Spill juice on my jacket. Say the building's on fire. Be inventive." Emma grinned. This might actually be fun. "Or a total disaster. But I'm counting on you." She stood up. "So, tomorrow night, 8 p.m. I'll email the address and wear something that says, 'I'm brilliant, but maybe dangerous.' Does that even exist? Find out." By the next morning, Emma had mentally rotated through at least 7 outfits. Her closet displayed a classic black dress, a polished burgundy number, and a blazer and trouser set that screamed high-powered attorney. "You need help," Lily announced, stepping in uninvited. "Or a fashion therapist." "I'm spiraling. What outfit says, 'I'm smart and mysterious, but I'm not trying to flirt with the CEO'?" Lily folded her arms. "Wait, you don't want to look like you're flirting?" Emma hesitated. "Okay, maybe just a bit. Not like, obviously, just subtly amazing." "The burgundy dress," Lily said firmly, "and the heels that make you walk taller, but regret life." Emma nodded, accepting her fate. At exactly 7:58 p.m., she arrived at the address Nathan had sent. The restaurant was the kind of place where the lighting was dim, the music was soft jazz, and the staff moved like they'd trained with the Secret Service. As she stepped from the car, the cool night air brushed against her skin. She walked in. And there he was. Nathan Brooks, standing in a charcoal grey suit, his hair perfectly styled, face calm, and a small smile playing at his lips as she approached. "You're right on time. I got here 15 minutes early and just circled the block. Battle prep? Panic management?" He offered his arm, guiding her toward the table. They sat, and as she adjusted her napkin, she glanced around the room. "Target incoming in 3, 2, 1, Nathan murmured. Right on cue, Veronica Chase made her entrance, draped in a crimson dress that clung like confidence, trailing the kind of perfume you don't forget, and wearing a smile that could cut glass. "Nathan, darling," she cooed, placing both hands gently on his shoulders. "I've missed you." Nathan stood up, polite but distant. "Delaney, always a pleasure." He turned to Emma, who stepped forward with a calm smile. "This is Emma Parker, my special assistant for integration affairs." Emma offered her hand, voice steady. "Nice to meet you." Delaney accepted the handshake, but not before giving Emma a slow, calculating glance from head to toe. "How interesting," she purred. "Have you two been working together long?" Emma smiled. "Since the $9 croissant." Delaney's expression faltered. Nathan cleared his throat. "Emma is remarkably efficient. She's played an essential role in our new approach." Delaney tilted her head, brushing back a perfectly set wave. "Your new approach looks younger." Emma didn't flinch. Young, brave, and proudly wearing themed socks. Nathan nearly choked on his water. The dinner unfolded like a high-stakes play, polished conversations, perfectly timed laughter, and a few subtle jabs from Delaney that floated across the table like paper cuts. Each time she made a move, Nathan would glance at Emma, and Emma would immediately throw out a distraction. "Mr. Miller, your tie's off center." "Mr. Miller, the manager's asking if you want the window seat." "Mr. Miller, we urgently need to review the company's protocol on dinner intrusions." By the time dessert arrived, Delaney seemed bored. When she finally left, Nathan exhaled, as if the air had been holding its breath. "You were perfect." "I improvise under pressure," Emma said with a smirk, "but I'm billing 1 week of 0 surprise reports." "That's negotiable. Maybe a croissant? A $9 croissant?" "Now you're negotiating like a lawyer." They laughed. Outside, as Nathan walked Emma to her car, the night was quiet, and for a moment, neither said a word. "Thanks for tonight," he said, finally. It was stressful, strategic, kind of fun. "You're a challenge wrapped in pinstripes," she said lightly, "and the most confusing CEO I've ever tried to read." "Keep trying." She reached for the door but paused as he said her name. "Emma." She turned. "Yes?" "You look dangerous tonight." She grinned. "And you almost looked human." He tilted his head, the faintest smirk playing at his lips. "Good night, Veronica Stone." "Good night, Mr. Miller." And with that, she got into the car, heart thudding with a rhythm just slightly out of sync. The morning after the investor dinner, Emma walked into the building like a fugitive on the run from attention. But disappearing was impossible now. She'd become that girl, the viral video girl, the $9 croissant girl, the surprise interview girl, and, according to the HR rumor mill, maybe even the CEO's secret +1. Lily greeted her with a coffee and a smirk. "So, Agent Stone, Veronication accomplished." "0 casualties," Emma replied. "But these heels are going in the trash." "I saw you leaving the restaurant. Moonlight, arm in arm." "Lily, it was courtesy." "The moon begs to differ, so does your burgundy dress." Emma rolled her eyes. "I was helping my boss escape an over-eager investor. It was strictly professional." "Then explain that grin," Lily teased, pointing with her coffee lid. The classic, "I enjoyed it more than I want to admit" grin. Emma turned to her computer, pretending to ignore her, but deep down, the smile was there, fluttering to the surface every time she remembered. "You look dangerous tonight." Before she could settle in, a notification popped up. Emergency meeting. 10 a.m., auditorium, mandatory, and in smaller font, CEO, present. "The mystery returns," Lily said. "Every time he calls a surprise meeting, something changes. I swear, if it's another office reshuffle..." "Or maybe," Lily added dramatically, "he's announcing your promotion as official dinner escort." Emma shot her a glare. "If that happens, I'm printing my resignation on gold foil." The auditorium buzzed with low voices and cautious speculation. Rows filled quickly. Emma tried to slide unnoticed into a seat in the back, but Lily had other plans, dragging her into the third row. "He's definitely going to see us from here," Emma whispered. "Exactly." "Why are you like this?" "Because it's entertaining." Moments later, the lights dimmed and the doors opened. Nathan entered, flawless suit, steady gaze, and the presence of someone who'd already rewritten the ending. He walked onto the stage with his usual composure, the kind that spoke of quiet confidence and control. But there was something softer in the way he moved that morning, a certain ease in his gaze, and when he noticed Emma among the crowd, he gave the faintest nod. So subtle, most would have missed it. She paused, unsure what to do with the heat rising in her cheeks, and covered it with a casual scratch of her head, as if she wasn't just caught off guard. Nathan launched into the presentation, discussing the company's new direction, targets, workflow improvements, forward-thinking strategies, and, to everyone's surprise, unveiled a fresh internal initiative titled Real People, Real Results. Then, like a scene unfolding too fast to stop, her interview appeared on the big screen. Emma sank into her seat. Oh no. Straight to corporate purgatory. She braced for second-hand embarrassment, but the crowd reacted differently, laughing in sync with the light moments, clapping when it ended, and stealing admiring glances her way. "This feels like a dream," she whispered. Nathan returned to the mic with calm assurance. "This video represents the direction we want to take. To show who we are, with humor, authenticity, and courage. And for that, I'd like to personally thank Ms. Emma Parker, who, without knowing it, set the perfect tone for what we're building." The applause came fast. Emma, meanwhile, wished for invisibility. "Please, Emma, come up here," he added. "Nope. Nope. No, thank you," she whispered, but Lily was already nudging her toward the aisle. Emma walked to the stage on legs that didn't feel entirely attached to her body. Nathan held out his hand. She shook it, nerves betrayed only by the tight smile she wore. "Would you like to say a few words?" he asked, offering the mic like it was made of lava. She accepted it reluctantly. "Hi. Well, I really just wanted to get an Uber and make it to work without getting fired. I didn't expect to end up in a video, much less on a giant screen, much less here." Laughter rippled through the audience. But if there's one thing I've learned, it's that sometimes you get into the wrong car and end up on the right path. More applause, and even Nathan seemed caught off guard by how neatly her words wrapped the moment. She handed back the mic and tried to make a clean exit, but the universe didn't cooperate. One misstep on her heel, a startled yelp, and she was stumbling, grabbing the nearest thing for balance, which happened to be a decorative plant. Both she and the pot hit the floor in a not-so-graceful heap. Silence swept the room. Still crouched in the aftermath, surrounded by shattered ceramic, Emma looked up with a lopsided grin. It was a fake plant, okay? The entire room erupted with laughter. Nathan rushed over chuckling and offered her a hand. "You have a unique talent for making an impact. Hire me as a party trick. I specialize in knocking over innocent decor." "Are you okay?" "Just my pride. But she's survived worse, Back at her desk, Emma was greeted like a sitcom star. Awkward, adored, unforgettable. "You're officially a legend," Lily said. "I demand a cactus-shaped trophy." Emma figured that would be the end of the chaos. But then came the email. Subject line, internal dinner. Special guests. "Emma, your presence is expected at the informal appreciation dinner for event participants. Today, 7 p.m., main conference room. TM, 2 hours to invent an excuse. 2 hours to convince herself not to go. But nothing sounded believable. At 7 sharp, she walked in. Whatever she expected, this wasn't it. Dim lighting. A table for 4. Nathan seated between 2 directors. When he spotted her, he stood and pulled out a chair. "I thought you wouldn't come." I considered bailing, but figured this might be some kind of CEO-level test. Maybe. Or maybe it's just dinner. Not everything has to be a riddle, Emma. The meal was modest, the conversation relaxed, peppered with thank yous and a few good-natured jokes about her run-in with the plant. When the others left, the 2 of them remained. "It's been a long day," she said. "You handled it with Emma, even while on your knees." Thinking of launching a course, how to publicly humiliate yourself and still get applause. Bestseller, I'm telling you. They sat quietly for a moment, the stillness between them comfortable. "Emma," he said, voice softer than usual, "you've been surprising since the day you jumped into my car, and challenging, since you didn't jump right out. I assumed you were just a grumpy Uber driver. Funny, my first thought was, who is this lunatic woman barking orders at me?" She laughed, lips pressed tight to hide a smile. "Fair enough. But then you made me laugh. That doesn't happen much. Almost never. Have you always been like this?" "Like what?" "Quiet, smart, secretly funny." "Maybe. But lately, something's shifted." "Because of me?" Their eyes met. "A little, yeah." She didn't know how to respond. He went on. "We don't know where this leads, but I'm curious enough to find out." She smiled, heart racing in a way she couldn't hide. "Just promise it's not another black car at a red light. Next time, you can drive." Terrible idea. Best one I've had all week. They stayed there, time forgotten. For the first time in what felt like ages, Emma wasn't overthinking. That morning, Emma knew something was off the moment she stepped into the building. The air felt too quiet, the kind of hush that means something important or something very weird is happening. She passed the front desk where the security guards were whispering. In the elevator, she overheard someone mutter, "He's different today." Different how? Less robotic, more mysterious, lethal mysterious. Upstairs, Lily was already pacing. "You won't believe this. Try me. Nathan is sick, sick like tissues and tea, or sick like evil mastermind plotting from his lair. Tissue sick. He turned down coffee. Didn't even say hi to the CFO. Emma stopped in her tracks. Wait, he has a cold. Apparently, but he won't admit it. You know him. He'll say it's a minor environmental imbalance or a seasonal corporate airflow irregularity." Emma sat down, trying to imagine Nathan Brooks, Mr. Marble statue, being laid low by a sniffle. "That explains last night's email," she murmured. "What email?" Subject line said, "Meeting plan changed." Message said, "Meeting cancelled." Files attached. That's it. No intro, no polite closer. Total robot glitch. Lily laughed. "So what are you going to do?" "Nothing. He's a grown man, and he's a CEO. He owned an empire. Surely he could handle a little virus." But deep down, Emma couldn't bring herself to just shrug it off. Around noon, after wrapping up a report, she slung her bag over her shoulder and headed down to the lobby cafe. She returned moments later with a paper bag packed like a care kit. lemon ginger tea with honey, a couple of chamomile tea bags, a bowl of chicken veggie soup, and a vitamin C bar that practically promised to resurrect you overnight. Lily glanced up from her desk, amused. You said you'd stay out of it. Now you look like you're moonlighting as the office wellness guru. I'm not playing nurse. I'm just delivering, Emma said flatly. It's different. She tapped gently on Nathan's office door. Nothing. Tried again. Mr. Miller, it's Emma. Come in, came a hoarse reply. She stepped in slowly. The air was thick with stillness. Nathan sat at his desk, holding a crumpled tissue, his eyes tinged red. His suit jacket hung over his chair, his tie slightly loosened. It was official. The CEO had lost the battle to the common cold. Wow, she blurted before she could stop herself. You actually look human. I'm fine, he said with a stuffy voice, just experiencing minor thermal instability. You have a fever. I have focus and strategic congestion, she laughed. Yeah, you're burning up for sure. She placed the bag on his desk. Emergency response kit for one overworked executive. Nathan eyed it like she'd handed him a box of snakes. What is this? Basic survival. Drink the tea now, eat the soup later, and please stop pretending you're still ready to take on Wall Street. Your voice sounds like a duck with allergies. He raised an eyebrow, but a cough-laced chuckle slipped out anyway. Emma pulled up a chair and sat across from him. Why are you even here? Guys at your level usually work from home if they so much as sniffle. Because I don't take days off. Because you're a robot. Because the robot has deadlines. And now the robot has a virus. Was that a pun? It was, and it was excellent. Nathan took a breath, staring down at the tea. You didn't have to do this. I know, but you probably would have done it for me, in your own robotic way. Maybe swap coffee for tea, spreadsheets for soup. He lifted the cup, took a sip, and grimaced. This is awful. That means it's working. A pause, then quietly. Thank you. You're welcome. All afternoon, Emma popped in and out with more tea, a thermometer, and some light, begging for him to go home. If you pass out in here, HR's going to have a panic attack. And honestly, I don't want to be the person who watched the CEO faceplant during a Zoom with investors. I'm not going to pass out. Okay, but if you do, can I manage your calendar for a week? Even with a fever? Still no. Had to ask. By end of day, she made one last push. All right, now I'm serious. You're pale. You're moving like a slowed-down movie scene, and your eyes look like a baby panda pulled an all-nighter. Go home. Emma? Go. Home. He paused. Only if you promise not to hover tomorrow. Debatable. He slowly stood. Emma handed him his jacket. Straight to bed. No emails. No, I was just going to check one report. No, maybe take this quiet time to revise the budget. Are you giving me orders? I'm protecting my favorite daily chaos generator. If you disappear, my life gets boring. He gave her a tired half smile. You're impossible. And you're stubborn. A tie, then? I'll allow it. The next morning, Emma arrived early. Earlier than usual. On her desk was a small box with her name on it. Inside, a note. I disappeared for the day as ordered. But don't think you've won. I'm just recharging for the next challenge. Nathan. Tucked inside was a chocolate bar and a keychain shaped like a penguin wielding a hockey stick. Emma let out a laugh, loud enough that Lily peeked around the corner. What's so funny? A passive-aggressive thank you, in keychain form. He's flirting with you. He's just returning the favor. He got you a penguin with a hockey stick. I mentioned it. That first day. In the car I thought was an Uber. Lily blinked. He remembered that. He remembered everything. Emma was quiet for a second, then gently placed the keychain in her bag. That day, As she sorted files and flagged reports, Emma realized something had shifted, not just in how she felt around Nathan, but in who she was. She wasn't the frazzled temp assistant who stumbled through meetings anymore. She was someone with a steady voice, a clear head, and the nerve to make a flu-stricken CEO drink ginger tea against his will. And just maybe, she was falling for him. On the final Friday of the month, Diamond Enterprises was buzzing with nerves and excitement. An event was coming, one everyone talked about, and nobody felt ready for. The company's annual holiday bash had a reputation of its own, one that included epic blunders, unlikely flings, dramatic returns of exes, and the occasional budget report abandoned next to the restroom sink. Emma Parker was determined not to star in any of those tales. "Stick to the plan," she whispered to herself in the mirror of the office bathroom, tugging at her dress. "Show up, smile, keep the conversation short, eat a safe snack, avoid all dancing, skip any karaoke temptations, definitely no kissing, and leave well before dessert hits the table." Lily, naturally, had a completely different game plan. "You look amazing," she declared, barging in like a Broadway entrance. "Nathan Brooks is either going to faint or, worse, smile." That's basically a full emotional breakdown for him. "I didn't get dressed for him." "Oh, really? Then was it for the stale soda, the spreadsheet slideshow, or the DJ who thinks 5 songs and their remixes count as a playlist?" Emma sighed. "I dressed up because I prefer to look professional in all the random party photos that mysteriously end up on the office bulletin board. And the red lipstick," Lily teased. "Let me guess. Battle paint? Number it's to keep people from talking too much." The ballroom was lit with warm light, silver balloons, and a glowing dance floor right in the middle. A DJ in sneakers bobbed behind his booth, while servers weaved through the crowd with drinks and canapes. Emma entered alongside Lily, feigning a level of comfort she did not possess in upscale hotel ballrooms filled with board members and borrowed charm. "Veronikayan 1, hunt down the appetizers," Lily grinned, already grabbing a plate. "Veronikayan 2, don't trip over anything," Emma muttered, steadying her glass. "Veronikayan 3, Lily added, scanning the room. "Find the CEO." Emma hesitated. "He might not even show up. He was out sick, remember? That was Tuesday. This is Friday. If he's healthy enough, he'll be here. And if he's here, trust me, he'll notice you. I'd bet my morning muffin on it." "Lily, he's my boss." "And you're the one who got him to smile in meetings. That's basically witchcraft." Emma ignored her, though her heart gave an inconvenient flutter. And then, as if summoned by fate's twisted sense of humor, he appeared. Nathan Brooks. Dark tailored suit, no tie, hair swept back like something out of a commercial, and eyes that always looked like they were calculating 5 moves ahead. Emma froze. She hadn't prepared for how different he'd seem out of his usual corner office, more effortless, more dangerous. He moved through the crowd with practiced grace, exchanged a few greetings, then locked eyes with her. Without missing a beat, he walked directly toward her. "Veronica Stone," he said, stopping just in front. "Mr. Miller," she replied, trying hard not to sound like her heart was racing. "You look beautiful, and you're alive, which is a victory, considering your feverish performance on Tuesday." He smiled. "Thanks to that ginger tea that tasted like homemade poison." "It's a family secret." "One that should have stayed in the family." They both laughed. "May I walk you to your table?" he asked. She hesitated, then nodded. He led her to a quieter spot near the garden wall, away from the pulse of the music. "You okay?" he asked softly after a moment. "Just trying to survive the evening without incident." "You already were an incident, a good one, and you tripped over that fern. Honestly, it was the highlight." Emma smiled despite herself. The air between them felt lighter. Do you usually stick around for these? I usually vanish early, but this year I thought I'd stay a bit longer. For the appetizers. For the company. Emma was about to respond when a familiar voice cut through the mood. One she hadn't heard in a long time and wasn't ready to hear now. Emma. She turned slowly, knowing that whatever came next would shift the night entirely. Jake. What are you doing here? She asked, startled. I was invited. I work with one of the investors. But wow, you look incredible. Nathan said nothing, watching intently. Hi, Jake, she replied, forcing politeness into her voice. This is unexpected. Last I saw you, you were freaking out about job interviews, not strutting into corporate galas. Well, things change. And I see your taste in mysterious men hasn't. Nathan stood up, calm and unshaken. Good evening, he said, extending a hand. Nathan Brooks. Jake looked a little thrown. Oh, you're the CEO at Emma's company. And I'm currently enjoying her company. Something you, it seems, didn't quite know how to do. Emma froze. Jake cleared his throat. Well, it was nice seeing you, Emma. You too. He left. Nathan sat back down, still composed. I'm sorry about that, Emma murmured. You don't have to be. Actually, it explains a few things. It doesn't matter. I know. She looked at him, maybe a beat too long. Why did you stay tonight? Nathan exhaled. Because I wanted to be where you were. Her lip quivered slightly. Her pulse thudded in her ears. Nathan, Emma. He leaned in just enough for her to hear clearly. You've thrown me off balance. You've made me question the logic I rely on. And now, you're pushing me out of the comfort I built. He paused. It's terrifying and kind of wonderful. She was about to speak when Lily reappeared, out of breath. They're calling everyone to the floor. Speech, raffle, partner dance. Come on. Emma looked at Nathan. I don't dance. Not well. Not usually. He stood, extended a hand. Maybe tonight we make an exception. She placed her hand in his. Together they stepped onto the dance floor. The room melted around them. Lights dimmed. The music softened. They started slow, unsure, but soon found rhythm. You know what happens tomorrow, right? She whispered. Gossip. Snapshots on the HR board. Exactly. And you know what else? What? I'm going to ask you out. Not as the CEO, as Nathan. She smiled. And I might say yes. Not as an employee. As Emma. The music played on. They danced without speaking. Because some things don't need to be said to be understood. In the days that followed, something felt different. Though no one acknowledged it, a chill seemed to drift through the halls of Diamond Enterprises, a hush that lingered. Nathan Brooks was distant. He still ran meetings with efficiency, still fired off emails like clockwork, still walked with that CEO certainty. But something in his gaze had changed, and with Emma, the silence between them was sharp. He hadn't mentioned the dance, or the offer he'd made, or the look they shared that seemed to say more than words ever could. He's avoiding me, Emma finally confessed to Lily 2 days after the party. Avoiding you? What do you mean? He doesn't swing by, doesn't ask me for anything. And today, in the elevator, he just said, "Good morning," like I was the night cleaning crew. Maybe he's lost in his own thoughts, maybe unsure, or maybe he's carrying around a regret he doesn't know how to name. Lily raised an eyebrow. That doesn't sound like him. Nathan never said things he didn't mean, never stepped in halfway and backed out. That used to be true. Now, it was like he'd become someone unfamiliar, like the original had been swapped out for a version running on cold logic alone. When his name flashed across her inbox, it wasn't the usual banter or clever subject line, just review attachments as agreed, Submit by Friday. TM. No jokes. No warmth. Not a trace of the person she thought she'd gotten to know. Emma typed her response with the same robotic tone, every word feeling like a quiet, heavy goodbye. By the third day, she couldn't take the guessing anymore. She stood outside his office, knocked twice. "Come in." It was his voice, recognizable, but duller than before. She stepped in, file in hand. He didn't stand. His suit was sharp as ever, eyes fixed on his screen. "I brought the report from the project department. Finished early, as you asked." "Great. Leave it on the desk." She hesitated, placed it down, then decided not to walk away. "Nathan," she said, gently breaking the cold rhythm. He glanced up briefly. "Mr. Miller," he corrected. The formality cut deeper than any silence. "What's happening?" she asked, voice steady. "Was the party a collective hallucination? Did the dance not happen? Did you not ask me out?" "It was a moment outside protocol," he replied evenly. "And maybe I crossed a line. Are you saying you regret it?" He didn't respond. She nodded slowly. "Got it." Turning toward the door, she paused. "You know the thing about moments outside protocol, Nathan? They stick with you, and when one person pretends it didn't happen, the other is left trying to forget something they already carry." He said nothing, and she left. That night, back home, her thoughts spiraled. The way he'd held her hand, the sincerity in his voice that night, the look in his eyes that wasn't just about business. But as much as she wanted to believe in the spark, she knew she had to stop waiting. He was the CEO. She was temporary, and it felt like the slate had been wiped clean. Or worse. The next morning, an envelope sat on her desk. She knew the handwriting. Inside, just one page. "Emma, if I seem distant, it's because I'm trying to hold on to the last shreds of logic I have. You threw me off balance. You made me laugh when I needed it most. You reminded me that real people exist. But I ruin things. And you deserve everything light. Everything I still don't know how to be. TM." She read it once, then again, carefully folding it and tucking it away like something sacred. She didn't say a word to Lily, didn't cry, didn't vanish, but she also couldn't smile like before. Her focus was sharp, her performance impeccable, but inside, she was in pieces. The letter stayed with her, a quiet ache folded neatly in her bag. She understood now. His silence wasn't cruelty. It was fear. Still, understanding didn't make it hurt any less. On Thursday, Lily showed up holding an envelope. "This just came from Nathan's office." "Another report?" Emma asked, not even bothering to hide the fatigue. "Nope. An invitation." The envelope was black, sleek, the company logo pressed in gold. Inside, a card for the end-of-cycle dinner honoring standout employees. Friday, 8 p.m. Location, La Terrace Restaurant. Guest of honor, Emma Parker. She read it again, then looked at Lily, stunned. "But I'm not even permanent staff. You made an impact. Nathan knows it. He's barely said a word to me all week. And now this?" Emma let out a sigh. Feels like a closing scene, or maybe the start of a whole new one. La Terrace was glowing that Friday evening, softly lit with golden ambience and a quiet stage framed by candles. Emma arrived in a simple, graceful dress, but her chest felt tight with nerves. She had no idea if he'd speak to her or avoid her completely. Inside, people smiled, nodded, greeted her warmly. She didn't quite know how to be the center of attention when all she really wanted was to fade into the background. Lily led her to a quiet table. "He's not here yet," she whispered. "Maybe he won't come. Or maybe he's waiting for the right moment." Moments later, the host stepped up to the mic and opened the night. Speeches followed. Gratitude, recognitions, laughs. And then her name echoed through the room. Tonight, we recognized someone who reminded us of the power of being real. A temporary hire who became the heart of a campaign, a symbol of courage, and the star of one unforgettable story. Emma stood to applause. Her hands trembled as she took the mic. I never imagined a mix-up with a black car would land me here. But it did, and it taught me that sometimes the silliest mistakes lead us to the best parts of our story. More applause. She returned to her seat. Still no sign of Nathan. She reached for her bag, ready to slip out unnoticed. Then, I almost lost you twice. She froze, turned. He was there. Dark suit, soft gaze. Once when you jumped into my car, and again when you walked out of my office with a heart I broke. She barely breathed. And now? Now I'm trying not to repeat that mistake. He stepped closer. I was scared, Emma. Scared of confusing feelings with duty. But you reminded me that the one thing I was missing was feeling. She didn't speak. She waited. I'm still complicated. Still the guy with the corner office and endless rules. But with you, the world feels lighter, honest. Possible, Nathan. Not as your boss, not as a project, but just as a man. Will you give me the chance to be that? She smiled. As long as we drive separately next time. He laughed, reached for her hand. She took it. And that night, beneath a sky full of fairy lights and quiet laughter, Emma Parker chose to stay. 2 months passed since the dinner. 2 months of daily coffee, unexpected texts, and learning how to fall for someone slowly, deeply, in the in-between moments. They kept things simple. Well, as simple as you can when dating a CEO whose name made headlines. At first it was weird. The stares, the office gossip, the emojis sneaked into emails. But they tackled it like they tackled everything else, through humor, patience, and a little sarcasm. Life turned into a cozy sitcom. Battles over how to load the dishwasher, playful debates about the correct toilet paper direction, and Emma's over-the-top impressions of Nathan reading emails in his overly formal voice. Then came one quiet Friday. She had just wrapped up a meeting when his message buzzed. Come to the rooftop, I need to show you something. She figured it was one of his spontaneous ideas. Maybe a pitch, maybe a new ad campaign, or maybe just another excuse to eat overpriced croissants. But when she reached the rooftop, she saw something else entirely. Soft string lights danced in the breeze. A small table stood at the center, glasses glinting under the moonlight, flower petals scattered gently. Nathan stood there calm, composed, in a grey suit. What is all this? She asked, suspicious but smiling. A moment off script, he replied. She stepped closer, still unsure. He took her hands. Emma, that day, I thought I was just getting into another car, but then you climbed in, and everything changed. She chuckled. You changed my world too, remember? I remember everything, from that ridiculous penguin sock to the way you made me laugh when no one else could. He dropped to one knee. Her breath caught. Nathan. He pulled a ring from his pocket. I'm a mess. I overthink. I panic. But with you, none of it matters. You're my anchor, my joyful chaos, my favorite mistake. He opened the box. The ring was simple, elegant, perfectly her. Emma Parker, will you keep laughing at my spreadsheets, getting into the wrong cars and turning my life upside down? Will you marry me? She gasped, hands to her face. Yes, yes, Nathan, yes, 1,000 times. He slid the ring on her finger, and she pulled him into a hug, overwhelmed. You're absolutely impossible, she whispered. And now I'm your impossible, he grinned. The wedding happened weeks later, on the same rooftop, with no over-the-top glamour, just love and laughter. The invitations said, "If you laugh, you're in the right place. If you trip, you belong here. If you got into the wrong car, welcome to the club." Lily was the most emotional maid of honor ever. Nathan wore a light blue suit with a tiny embroidered penguin holding a hockey stick. Emma walked in with pearl buttons and a smile that outshone the sun. "You look stunning," he said, "and you look nervous. You gonna faint?" "Probably." The vows were raw and sweet. "I promise to believe you when you say you're right," he said, "and I promise to act surprised when you finally admit it," she replied. They kissed, the crowd cheered, and someone launched confetti early, making everyone laugh. Later, they danced to the same song from that first party, only this time it wasn't about pretending. It was just them, whole, real, true. As the night faded and goodbyes were said, Nathan took her hand and led her under the rooftop lights. "Hard to believe it started with you shouting, 'Go, go, go,' and you saying, 'Sorry, but—'" They laughed. "If I had told you I wasn't your Uber that day, we'd have missed all this." He kissed her, steady and certain. And in that moment, under the soft city glow, with everything behind them and everything ahead, they knew they'd found something they didn't even know they were looking for. What did you think of Nathan and Emma's journey? Tell us in the comments below. Rate the story from 0 to 10. And don't forget to subscribe for more heartwarming moments like this one. Tap here to watch the next one.